AskReddit by Relation Major 731. What really obvious thing have you only just realized? That my casual coffee drinking habit, 3-4 coffees day, is causing the anxiety I've been experiencing for some time. Now I drink one coffee around lunchtime, only if I feel I need it and I feel better. My clinical psychology professor's first question to people in therapy for anxiety was, how much coffee do you drink? You'd be surprised how often that helps. I'm face blind, and I just found out how bad it is. Apparently my UPS driver who I see every day at work is the guy who grew up down the street from me, and I thought they were two different people because the UPS guy wears a hat. Perry the platypus? Tutti frutti means all the fruits in Italian. Ruti. In Greek alphabet we have the letters Omicron and Omega. It took me 37 years to realize that they actually mean O small and O big. Also alphabet is alpha beta, the first letters of the Greek alphabet. Basically every time I look at a word's origin I learn that I know nothing about English. Window was Windine Norse, https://www.itimonline.com/word/window close bracket. For example, Windeye replaced I hole, I door, and Frisian had breath door. Or how, inspire, https://www.itimonline.com/spirit _v_24031 close bracket is from Latin breathe. In spirit is breath of God and expiring is dying by breathing out your last breath. Took me till my freshman year of college before I realized pickles were pickled cucumbers and not their own unique vegetable. I thought the way you pickled other things was you put them in pickle juice. Different regions called them different things. I had a friend from Michigan who said they called the cukes. Still not sure if he was messing with me. Vampires don't have a reflection because mirrors used to be made using silver and it was the silver that wouldn't reflect the vampire's image. Same reason why old cameras wouldn't photograph them silver nitrate. Now that mirrors are mostly glass backed with aluminium, and photography is mostly digital, this is no longer a reliable way to identify vampires. Also vampires can shave in peace now. It wasn't too long ago that I learned that masking on Photoshop is in reference to the same sort of task when painting. Using masking tape to block off the areas you don't want the paint to get on. Dunno why it took me as long as it did. Masking means to cover the area to protect it. Masking tape is named for the use. The use is not named for masking tape. The phrase pitch black is referring to the substance pitch, which is very black in color. I had always considered pitch in that context to be akin to very, like how some otherwise archaic words survive in idioms. Here's another. The term jet black refers to jet, a type of coal that forms from fossilized wood. It's noted for being very black. I learned in therapy last year that I can ask for things I need and things I want. I was 42 years old at the time. Now the challenge is to figure out what you need and what you want. Corn kernels are the seeds. Wanted to grow corn for fall last year. Bought a pack of corn seeds only to realize the kernels from the cob were the seeds. Felt pretty dumb just realizing this at 33 years old. Wait till you find out that corn is a fruit, botanically of course, not culinary. That placing an onion slice or lettuce leaf on the bottom hamburger bun keeps your freshly grilled burger from soaking the bun. I prefer my burger buns toasted to avoid this. A friend just shared me a video in which a lady talks about how she never figured she could eat the lemons from her lemon tree instead of buying lemons from the store. That depends on the quality of the lemons produced by the tree, though. This neighbor kid would always invite me over to spend the night, saying he'd show me dirty movies and teach me some wrestling moves. I always said no because I wasn't into wrestling. Didn't figure out until like 15 years later that he was trying to molest me. Cluelessness saves you. Yeah. I saw a video where a man said he didn't know banks don't keep your money. He's been giving the bank rare coins thinking they put it in his account. I think he thought it was like a safe deposit box. Devastating honestly. Non-us resident here. I grew up reading Donald Duck comics and I was well into my teens before I realized that the green money was based on the dollar bill, not something the artist made up. I just found the concept of green money unrealistic. It still kind of blows my mind that Donald Duck comics were more popular outside the US than within. We went to London in primary school and went to the Houses of Parliament. I've only just realized they say ayes and noes when referring to how people vote. Not ayes and noes. I thought it was a covered way to vote by turning your head a certain way or something. I only figured it out when I was watching a video with captions. This is so wholesome. Growing up, my grandmother always used to tell me sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite, and it always sounded like a quaint, old Timmy saying to me. It wasn't until a recent infestation scare in my apartment complex that I learned bedbugs are real critters, and not just a part of a nursery rhyme meant to tuck kids in at night. Talk about an epiphany that itches in retrospect. Deleted. That Men's Warehouse is a pun. Also the Beatles. The critters are Beatles. Songs have a beat. I was in my mid-20s and in law school when I figured out why the game's name was Monopoly. Once I realized that pink lemonade is just lemonade with grenadine in it. Can be made other ways too, such as using the skin of red grapes, red grape juice, cranberry juice, crushed raspberries, and a few others, including simply adding a few drops of pink food dye. I grew up around Doctor Who but never actually watched it for the longest time. My grandma, and apparently my great-aunt way before I was born, loved Doctor Who, so it was just always around and I never gave any thought to the name of the show. And then finally, oh my god, it's called Doctor Who because nobody knows his real name and they just call him the Doctor. Fucking shoot me dead or something. I was so embarrassed. They didn't think Black Sabbath would make us worship Satan. They thought it would make us question the government. Then Dead Kennedys pops up, then Rage Against the Machine. I was watching the TV show Monic Legacy of Monsters. They show the characters in different times, the past and present, so they have an old actor and young actor for each version. I was crazy impressed by how well they cast the young version of Kurt Russell's character. Like he looks so believably like him in the past. The young version is actually his son, Wyatt Russell. Lol, yeah, Wyatt Russell does in fact bear a striking resemblance to his own dad. I saw him in something else first and kept having that I know him from somewhere feeling. He looks just like his parents. Employment loyalty with large companies is a one-way street. Always. Amen. Only when I finally realized that did I finally leave a company after 20 years and do what I love, want for a living breath of fresh air. That I'm not a bad person if I decline an invitation somewhere, and that I don't need a life or death excuse as to why I can't attend. I've always thought if someone invites me to something, I would have no excuse not to go unless there was some kind of emergency. I have stressed myself out thinking of what to wear or researching appropriate host gifts or what I might need for the activity, even if it's not something I wanted to do. I've known this intellectually for a while, but for whatever reason didn't think it applied to me. It wasn't until I reached my 30s that I stopped making excuses. Now I sometimes literally say no thanks, that's not something I want to do. The bluntness gets a laugh.